This is the quick hitter video about the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So, let's get right into it. It's been years since we've really seen them in action. I think there's a pretty good chance that some or all of them could show up in Wano, provided they actually check on the Weaver card. I'm sure that other members could have checked on it too, maybe even accidentally. Another scenario could be that with Drake's report to Kobe could have relayed this information to the higher ups of the SHIELD organization. Kobe could have even relayed the information to the Marines, right? So the military or just the SHIELD organization might be forced to take action. And because of the incident in the Reverie, maybe Sai, the forces of Dressrosa, Alabasta, and Fishman Island could have been injured to an extent that they are left unable to help. So then, the other fleet members could arrive in the middle of the war and actually help out and turn the tides in the favor of the Straw Hats and their allies. There is a possibility that the Grand Fleet arrives after the war in Wano. And if that happens, well, I think it's mostly going to be for comedic relief and helping with the aftermath. You know, healing the wounded, rebuilding Wano, and most importantly, making Wano the headquarters of the Straw Hats and the Grand Fleet. Because when that happens, I feel like Luffy has become a full-fledged Yonko. I think that Luffy would take Kaido's seat and bump him off the members of the Yonko. Just like what happened with Crocodile. They could end up executing Kaido on the spot. I really think that's possible. But I do think that it won't happen. I just think that he'd be taken into custody by the Marines or maybe even SHIELD. Let's move on to a different topic. Let's talk possible new members of the Grand Fleet. I think that Kid has a decent chance of becoming a Straw Hat Grand Fleet member. I believe that Oda would rather have him rival Luffy for the throne because Kid is stubborn like that, so I'm totally expecting him to continue to rival Luffy. I think the best candidate we have in Wano is Law. I believe that he could view himself indebted to Luffy because of what he did to Doflamingo. It would be great to see the Scabbards join the Grand Fleet, but I think that Ashura Doji, Neko, Inu, and Izo have a legitimate chance of becoming actual Nakama. I think that Marco might also be a great candidate to become a Grand Fleet member. It would make sense for the remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates to become a part of the Grand Fleet. Drake is another character that I think could join the Grand Fleet. Really, SHIELD in general. We don't know a lot about SHIELD yet, but I think that they could ally themselves to the Straw Hats and basically be a part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. Most of us probably consider Vivi as a Nakama. I do as well. I'm sure if we ask Oda, he'd say Luffy considers Vivi as a Nakama as well. For the Fishman Royals, I think that they're basically a part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet right now, seeing as their whole island was taken in as Luffy's territory. And because they were fine with it. Now, I feel like Bellamy won't be joining the Grand Fleet at all, but maybe we could see him later on in the story. Shanks might ally his crew with Luffy's, but not exactly as a part of the Grand Fleet. I say this because he probably inherited Roger's will. He might even know about One Piece and the Void Century. Because I really think that's the only reason that Shanks is able to come and go in Marijoa. Because the Marines might be under the impression that Shanks was with the Roger Pirates when they set foot on Laugh Tale. The Straw Hats and the Grand Fleet don't look like a Yonko crew yet. That would mean that the Straw Hats and the Grand Fleet would need to add numbers. That could happen as soon as after the war in Wano. And after that, the fleet could appear like a full-fledged Yonko crew. That's why I think that the Straw Hats and their Grand Fleet would be much better off having quality and quantity. So, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Crush like if you did, as if you were Bartolomeo crushing your enemies with your barrier. Comment down below what your thoughts are about the possible new members of the Grand Fleet, and subscribe to the channel so it could grow, and I could continue to provide you with more of that One Piece content that you really, really want. So, as always, stay safe. Peace.